Hey guys, it's Ashley. I just wanted to make a response video for Brooke. Brooke, today you made a really great video about who you are and where you come from and about some of your problems and where they may have started. And I really appreciate your candor and your honesty and being willing to share that with others. And I started to just leave you a comment, but I didn't think that was really going to do justice to everything I wanted to say. So I'm going to make a response video. First off, the first thing you mentioned was that, you talked about where you're from and all, but the first thing you mentioned weight-wise was that you were having a real hard time not feeling like your parents were to blame for your weight problem. And honestly, if they put you on a diet at 7, sure, they deserve some of the blame for that. But also, what you have to consider, and it took me a long time to come to conclusions with, back then, I'm 28, so we were raised, at the same time, and nutrition just wasn't really talked about. It wasn't really a big deal. I think of all the crazy things that came out of that time period, and there was no, let's take sodas out of high school campaigns when we were in school. There were no provide a fresh salad option at lunchtime in school lunches campaign. There was never that. Nutrition just was not talked about, and it was just kind of assumed that what we were being sold in the stores was semi-healthy. And sure, there were the obvious bad things like Oreos and cookies and things like that, but hey, who understands about proportions and portion sizes and things like that? That stuff just wasn't covered back then. And unfortunately, there just wasn't that information out there. So your parents, it sounds like they really wanted to help you, they wanted you to be healthy, but they didn't know how. And so unfortunately, subconsciously, they started approaching that in an emotional attack. Instead of changing the foods in the house, they thought if they could, make you feel bad about being chubby, maybe you get your act together. As a child, somehow do for yourself what they weren't doing for you. And I know that sounds weird, but my stepdad was very similar. He would say some pretty hurtful things about my weight as a child and a young lady, a teenager, an adult. I've never had a great relationship, and he's always been pretty hurtful. Not on purpose, I think, but it definitely hurts. And unfortunately for a little girl, having those kinds of comments come from your father, who is supposed to be your first love, it just, unfortunately, it really wounds your self-esteem. And even if you don't recognize it, even if you don't look at that and go, that really hurt my self-esteem and it really changed who I saw myself as a person, it really did. Fathers are extremely important to children. Fathers' behaviors and examples, those are all important things. And unfortunately, he just didn't approach that the right way, and I'm really sorry that you're dealing with that. The other thing you talked about was binge eating that you've had a problem with. When you sit and you eat so much that you become physically ill. I know that feeling. I've done that. I still occasionally do. And unless you do it, unless you have that particular problem, you can't understand the desperation, the anxiety, the deep desire to just feel something, even if it's just to feel so full you want to puke. You just want to feel, or you want to not feel. Whichever way. It's one extreme or the other. What? Okay, I'm back. So we were talking about binge eating. Unless you have that problem, you just don't know what that's like. And I do have that problem, so I know what that's like, and I know how that's a struggle. But you know what? You're not giving up, and that's great. Sure, you're struggling. I'm struggling. I've been on YouTube for a heck of a long time, okay? Now, I took about a 6-month hiatus in the middle where I wasn't really doing anything healthy or great, whatever, but I was on YouTube for several months, and then I was off for a couple months, and I've been back now for about a month, and altogether, the amount of weight that I've lost is pitiful. It's nothing. I mean, it's just the smallest number, and it's so frustrating sometimes. But you know what? I'm still trying, and that's what matters. And the people who want to get you down and be like, oh, well, you're still this weight, blah blah blah. Just ignore them. Push them to the side and be like, look, biatch, get up out of my face. You don't know my struggles. You don't know my life. I am trying. I'm doing my best, and I'm sharing my journey with you. If you don't like it, unsubscribe. It's so easy. I don't know why people feel the need to continue to watch someone that they know they don't like, and they know pisses them off, and they know that they're just going to dislike the videos. Why don't you just unsubscribe and go somewhere else? I don't understand that. I really don't. But I just wanted to say that as someone who's basically your same age, going through the same sort of, the same sort of parental things and the same sort of weight things, and I want you to know you're not alone, and I really appreciate everything that you share with us, and that I can share with y'all, and it's a great community, and that's why we're here, because if we were done with our journeys, there'd be no reason to be here. So it's the journey that's everything, and I really appreciate you sharing that with us, and I wanted you to know you're not alone. So, Brooke, this is my response video to you. Thanks. Have a great day.